Hi everybody, this is Sal, and this is going to be my review of the SCAR-H carbine from the Engineer Kit. Now, one of the very first things I noticed about the SCAR-H is that it is not particularly suited to close-range combat, as it does have a very low rate of fire, and I found myself getting outgunned on not every occasion, but a lot of the time I noticed that other guns could simply kill me faster at those close ranges. Now, mid-range, I found this gun performs quite well, although it does have a very high vertical recoil. Once you can master that, mid-range, this gun is truly in its element. Although with that being said, one of the frustrating things about this gun is the small magazine size, which is 20 bullets plus 1 in the chamber for a total of 21. So if you find yourself facing multiple enemies, it can sometimes be hard to kill both of them with the magazine size provided. SCAR-H is a little harder to use in longer range fights simply because it has a very high vertical recoil, and that's pretty hard to control over those longer ranges. Now the SCAR-H deals 30 damage at a point blank range, and that trails down to about 20 damage at a 50 meter range. Now if you compare that long range damage to the other carbines in the Engineer class, you will notice that the SCAR-H actually has the highest damage at the longest range. Now that sounds great on paper, but when you really put the SCAR-H into play, that damage at those high ranges can be very hard to achieve due to that recoil. But if you can master the SCAR-H recoil at those longer ranges, it will actually outclass any other gun in the Engineer kit. But for the most part, the SCAR-H is hard to use at those long ranges. As far as attachments go for the SCAR-H, there are a few options. First of all, I would like to point out that the SCAR-H has a very low and balanced horizontal recoil. What this means is that the foregrip might not be the best option for this gun. From my experience, putting a foregrip on every gun often just seems like second nature to Battlefield players, and it can be a hard habit to break. But I do recommend you try this gun without the foregrip and decide for yourself. Now the heavy barrel is something that I really like using on this gun, although flash suppressor and suppressor are also good options. I don't want to come here and say these are the attachments you have to use. I'm just offering a recommendation and what I've found works in my experience. And as far as the sight goes, red dot sight, hollow sight, whatever works for you. I like the hollow sight, but that's just me. Another option for the SCAR-H would be to throw a bipod on there and perhaps a 3 to 4x scope and utilize that extra damage at those longer ranges. Although this is just a theory, it would be interesting to see the results. Well, the SCAR-H hasn't been my favorite gun. I've still had a lot of fun using it, and I would recommend it for the Engineer kit. Now I know there are a lot of other guns that people prefer to use as an engineer, such as the ACWR and the M4A1. Now there's nothing wrong with that, and those are great guns, but they do take quite a amount of time to unlock. So in the meantime, while you're earning your way to those points, the SCAR-H is a great alternative. So in conclusion, the SCAR-H is a great mid-range gun. It gets outgunned a little bit at close range. In longer range, it's a little harder to control. So guys, this has been Sal with my review of the SCAR-H carbine from the Engineer kit. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, it all helps. Thanks guys, see you around.